After finishing Life is Strange Double Exposure, I carried around this feeling in the pit of my stomach, which I have no other way to explain it other than this warm yet empty void. I only spent 12 and a half hours playing the game, yet closing it down felt like I was saying goodbye to friends and closing this chapter of my life. I was happy from experiencing something so meaningful to me, yet sad from the thought of it all being over. Beyond that, all I had left was this longing for more time with the characters and the world. I spent some time the next day searching online for more Life is Strange content, and I found that there was this DLC for True Colors I haven't done yet, and I was also reminded of Before the Storm that I've still been too afraid to play, knowing what happens in the first game. But I also found a series of comics that tell some of Max and Chloe's story after the events of the first game, and a book on how Steph arrived in the town before the start of True Colors, and another of Steph and Alex after True Colors, and another of those two taking place a year after that, which releases December 10th. So, of course, I added all of it to my cart and bought it immediately. But I can't help but wonder why I feel this way sometimes. It's happened with other games and stories over the years. The first time I can remember feeling this way was after finishing the Dragonlance series that I was reading growing up. There was also when I made it near to the end of Cowboy Bebop, and I say near the end because I was never able to bring myself to finish the last two episodes because part of it had been spoiled a little bit for me, and so I knew that their story was about to end, and I didn't want it to. I wanted to feel like they were going to be continuing on their journeys for forever and ever. And of course, like what I mentioned earlier, finishing the first Life is Strange. Just each of these games and stories brought out emotions in ways that I don't normally feel. I thought maybe it could because of what I mentioned with Cowboy Bebop and just not wanting the adventure to end. But I don't know, I feel there's still more to it. I often feel similar to this with slice of life animes that I really connect with, and the one thing all of those have in common, the slice of life shows, Cowboy Bebop, Life is Strange, the Dragonlance series, it's all about the groups and the personal connections that the characters have with each other. And it's very possible that I'm overthinking this, but I can't help but wonder. Am I craving human connection? Am I lonely? When I think back to Double Exposure, the part that comes to mind first is at the very beginning when the three of them are on the rooftop watching the meteor shower together. You know, that kind of friendship, it felt magical to me, like I was watching a fairy tale. When I think back to some of my closest friends growing up, I don't actually know that much about them. I couldn't really tell you what their interests are or even what kind of food they like. Whenever we've hung out, it's always been about doing something, usually playing some sort of video game or working on some sort of project. And I don't know, just the thought of sitting around and talking, it feels uncomfortable. Even just writing the script for this video, that last sentence, I could feel the dread and uncomfort building up in the top of my chest. And I kind of want to change that. I would love to have that kind of connection that I see in these shows and these games. And I don't know, I guess I don't want to be afraid of getting to know the people that I hold close. This is far from how I expected this video to go. I thought I'd come to some sort of revelation about my favorite kind of genre or interests in video games, but instead I feel like I've found myself down a path towards my own version of a midlife crisis. But that's okay. I'm going to start slow. First, I'm going to finish Cowboy Bebop, and then next I'm going to make some plans with a friend, and just to hang out, to sit and talk, and maybe I'll let you know how it goes, maybe not. But so far, this is the weirdest thing to come from my journey to play every single video game that I own.